any other questions, Mike? Do you want to
Yeah, sure. The New Lagoon Show, Universal Cinematic Spectacular. 2 years ago, it actually started really small. It started out as just a simple revamp of the current 360 show. But one thing we did know we wanted to do was remove the spheres that we had in the lagoon, try and find a new projection surface, and that was a little more dynamic. And that brought us to Strasbourg, France, with Aquatique International. And they developed these amazing aquagraphic curtains that can really project a very clear and almost high definition image on both sides of the curtain. That's one thing too. If you're, no matter what side of the park you're on, you're seeing the same image. It's not reverse on one side. You can literally project onto this curtain from both sides, which was really, really intriguing to us. And also, it has a really cool technology that we're exploiting in the show several times, where it can actually create patterns and actually show logos and graphics. You might see that a little bit tonight, actually in the pre-show. But at one point during the show, we're kind of doing a film strip pattern, and that curtain's able to do that. Think of it like a dot matrix printer. We can import an image, and it prints that image out in water. It's very, very cool. So we knew we had that. We also knew we wanted to kind of fill in the space between the barges that these aquagraphic curtains kind of rest on. And one of the first things that popped into our head were fountains. Figured out a way to kind of connect each one of those barges using fountain technology. But the focus of this show is telling the story of Universal's film legacy. That was the main thing we wanted to do. It's very important to us. It's hugely important to me. I'm a huge movie fan. This was an absolute dream come true to get the call saying, hey, we want to do a Lagoon show. Would you mind doing an edit of all the famous Universal clips? Yes, that would be awesome. We worked with Universal Pictures on the edit. We have Morgan Freeman doing the narration for the show. And the show is set up a little bit differently than our previous 360 show. We really wanted to section the show off into basically 100 years of categories. So during the show tonight, you're going to see 100 years of heroes, 100 years of horror, 100 years of laughter, 100 years of good versus evil, 100 years of triumph. And the show kind of follows that progression. Because the really important thing about it is what does film do to you when you watch it? When you sit in a movie theater and you're transported to someplace else. That is an amazing thing. Something that any movie fan or any person who goes to a movie wants. You want to sit there and have these characters on screen. You want to be a part of them. And that is an incredibly important thing, and an amazing thing that happens when you're sitting in a movie theater. And that was the one thing we really wanted to kind of project to our audience. At the same time, show the legacy that Universal has. It was really important for the edit to not only show all the big films, Back to the Future, Jaws, Fast and Furious, E.T. Yes, those are givens. You've got to put those things in the show. But it was also incredibly important to show some of the films that maybe the average person doesn't know Universal actually put out. I think a lot of feedback I've had, people have seen the show, have been, I didn't know Universal made that. I have to watch that again. Or my kid hasn't seen that movie yet. I have to have them see that movie. I know for me, like I just recently showed my son E.T. for the first time. That was the main inspiration for this show for me. That was the first movie I saw in the theater, was E.T. I was with my mom. I remember the song that played before the movie started. It was Chuck Mangione, Feels So Good. But I remember that is like indelible in my mind, that experience. And that was something I wanted to bring to this show. That any family who's coming to see it is going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't shown you that movie yet. We have to go home and watch that. That's really important, and I hope that's something that kind of carries after the guests leave. But the show itself is one of the biggest Lagoon shows we've ever put on, with the combination of the fountains, the holographic technology, water curtains and water screens, synchro-light technology, the same type of technology we used in our Harry Potter grand opening to kind of back the castle. We have those in the show as well. We just wanted to really create this incredibly immersive experience that you're surrounded by. Fireworks, depending on where you stand in the park, you're going to kind of get a different experience. Each section of the park is arranged differently. It provides a different experience no matter where you're standing. no video can capture. You gotta be here to see it. It is really kind of a breathtaking thing, and something we're really proud of. And yeah, this has been a dream come true, and the response so far has been just amazing, and we're really happy. And we're kind of, this show really captures Universal. I think when the guests leave, they're going to leave walking out going, all right, that was a great cat. That was an awesome kiss goodnight. That was a love letter. That's what I wanted this to be. That's what we all want this to be. And I think we've achieved that. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like, how many fountains did you put in for the show?
The fountains span the entire lagoon. They're kind of connecting the dots between the barges. That's another thing too. All the technology that we have only is there to support the content that is going on these aquagraphic curtains. This edit that we've created with Universal Pictures. All of that is in support of that. Think of it like one of the big things that in early stages was there were some TVs that came out way back that put light out beyond the TV screen. So you could kind of focus on your image, and then you had light that kind of supported what was happening on screen. That's what those fountains provide. That kind of color, kind of activity, some movement. And fountains are all attached to the musical score, which was original arrangement of classic Universal scores. Some other ones that aren't as well known, but wanted to provide an emotional message that we scored in Indianapolis with an amazing orchestra. So again, all of that technical content really supports those curtains.
Any other questions?
Yes.
I know the show's brand new, and it also has some movies that aren't even out yet, a couple of them. But are the plans to maybe update it as new movies come out? Say this show runs 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is an amazing partnership we now have. We've always had a great relationship with Universal Pictures with some of our Horror Night stuff, but this is also a great opportunity to stay with them and be able to input new films into this show as they come out.
Yeah, the design of the system, the technical system of the show was specifically built to be able to easily, you can easily do this.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, to be able to plug and play different film pieces as we wish. You know, as you mentioned, we have some new stuff. We have scenes from Battleship that's coming up for release. We have Snow White and the Huntsman. And the great thing that Mike, it was really cool, again, our relationship with Pictures, you were getting a daily rush shots as the films were being made. And footage was being sent to us to be included in the show. So yeah, as we go down the road and we wish to trade footage out or move films around, it can be done. The system is specifically designed to do it.
Some other cool things too, like there were certain clips that weren't mastered in high definition. They were still in a standard def format.
That's right.
Universal, once I picked the select clips that I wanted, they actually would remaster those in high definition, completely clean them up and put them in our show. So again, their support in this has been absolutely fantastic and unprecedented for our group.
Question. Is there going to be, this is silly, but is there any way that you are going to be able to track maybe like sales of certain classic films and see if they go up as people watch them in the show and go home, like you said, share them with their family?
I'm sure someone would.
Someone might.
That would be me. That would be me.
Yeah, we're the entertainment guys, so maybe that would be cool though. I mean, if all of a sudden To Kill a Mockingbird had a resurgence.
Yeah. This also kind of ties into the reissuing. There's 13
titles that are being remastered and reissued by the studio. And we do that's one of the cool things about how we do this partnership or relationship is that all of the films that are featured in Universal Cinematic Spectacular are available for sale. So it'll be interesting. That's cool. We'll have to find out if there's a resurgence in some of the titles.
There will be.
I hope so, because there's some, as Mike said, there's some moments in there, even when we watch it, and we consider ourselves movie fans, where you look at it and go, wow, okay, I got to see that one again, or I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, if you haven't, To Kill a Mockingbird actually is one of the ones that just came out, and All Quiet on the Western Front.
All Quiet on the Western Front. Yeah.
If you haven't bought them yet, they're awesome. The special features on them are just great.
Now, since you've got this new technology with the fountains and are able to do that, do you see Universal potentially using it for another event like Horror Nights or maybe Mardi Gras and doing some type of themed show?
Sure. Yeah, that's yeah, I think my handler in the back of the room is instructing me not to spill my guts. The system is completely capable of being reformatted for multiple uses.
Good one.
We're gonna get ready.
I can't talk.
But if there's one more question, yes, please, Sally.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there were any movies that you selected because they had, personal resonance with you, even though they might not have been the biggest of Universal films.
Yeah, there are a couple.
I should answer that.
Yeah,
you go ahead. You go ahead.
E.T. of course, and that has a really nice moment in the show. You guys will know it when it happens. And I wanted to get some of the cult stuff in there too. Shaun of the Dead has a great moment in the horror section, and that wasn't particularly a film that I think they would have gone in otherwise. But where we placed it, it's a great kind of breaker in all that content that's in there. Scott Pilgrim has a moment as well. I'm a huge comic book fan as well, so I wanted to get a moment in there. Yeah, that was the fun part though. It was kind of laying everything out, and we knew the big stuff. So those, of course, that was the first things we kind of laid into the edit and into the music. That's kind of how it gets stacked. Music happens first, and then you kind of put your big stuff where your big music is, and you kind of start laying in other things. And there were multiple versions of this edit as we kind of, the 2 years that we kind of went through before it, and things shifted and changed. But where we landed, I'm really, really happy with. I think it's a great cross section of everything. Mostly everything Universal has put out. I shouldn't say everything. It is definitely everything that everyone's going to remember, and again, hopefully others that will go, I have to go see that.
Do we have any idea of how many films are featured?
There are over 200 films featured in the edit. Some films get multiple sections that we kind of sprinkled throughout the show. But an exact clip count, I'm not completely aware of. And I've got like 19 numbers in my head right now of where we kind of landed. But yeah, there's over 200 films that are represented within this cut. Many Academy Award-winning films. So.